heavy. It's been a long day. Long, tiring day. We'll just keep that happy little operation off camera. Did I just get bit? Like right now? Holy crap. It's a swamp out here. Hello, Rogue Warrior. How's it going? Just wanted to, I was thinking about some of the problems that we got going on and recent events, and it reminded me of a Dead Kennedy song, because I grew up listening to a lot of punk rock, and there's this one particular song called We Got a Bigger Problem Now. And the context of that particular song was the first song they wrote, California Uber Alice, was about when Jerry Brown got elected the first time as governor. You know, Moonbeam Brown, they called him. Good day so far. Awesome. A good day is a good thing. I'd say my day was pretty good, although I've been feeling a little under the weather due to the poisoning of being stung by 10 bees the other day. But we're recuperating. But it got me thinking about that Dead Kennedy song. First song was written about Governor Jerry Brown, and the second song, We've Got a Bigger Problem Now, was when Reagan was elected as president, of all things. So obviously they saw the downsides of both sides of the aisle, if you will. Hello, Flux Frog. Please help me, sir. They will. Okay. Well, hello, everyone, all of a sudden. What do you need help with, Flux Frog, in particular? Oh, Kazakhstan? Yeah. I was by there once. Anyway, so in my life, you know, I've held various views philosophically, politically. Some of them would be to the quote-unquote right, some would be to the quote-unquote left. Most would be probably just in the center bullseye of being American. But the bigger problem I'm alluding to now is, you know, with all the points in history you could point out in the United States history, you know, all the little minor skirmishes and actual instances of what would be considered internal conflict. Never has there been a moral decay, and hence the bigger problem now. So the problem is the primacy of people, you know, people like helping each other out. But despite what you feel about current events, I just want to point out, just scientifically and analytically, that I was on Facebook today and I observed a news article from NPR, because I've listened to NPR a lot in my life. And it was a rather neutral story, considering it was NPR, but it was on Facebook. And I noticed it was a story about Charlie Kirk, right? The recent assassination yesterday of Charlie Kirk. And so I noticed, what I did is I wanted to analyze the reactions and emojis to that particular news story, which again was what I would consider neutral politically. And so in the 800 flagged emojis, approximately 212 of them were sad faces, and about 198 of them were laughing out loud faces. indicating almost a complete 50-50 split in the sentiment over the loss of this life. And I thought that was rather telling, considering in most of the history of the strife that you could pinpoint throughout history of this nation's development, arguably there was still a primacy of the same moral code. But that has been completely inverted over the last few years. So, anyway, there's a lot going on in the chat section here. Mystical Stab Artist says, one time I took a yellow jacket nest and put it in a box. I have a similar childhood story. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot going on in the chat here, so. Let's see, I think I saw Jade in there. Yep, hey Jade. Luckily I have pattern recognition and can see your little avatar. I over-intellectualize everything, Mystical Stab Artist. I just now actually realized what your name was. That's pretty funny. No, I can't shave my beard with my Ginun Ting. I might cut myself. You know how sharp this thing is? This is like my primary blade, so that's why I hold it near and dear to me in times of strife and woe. So it's also something that I can feel comfortable having a weapon that is not going to kill my live stream. Good Lord, that's that midget rooster. Poor thing, smaller than most of the chickens, so he can't, do his rooster thing. But out of view, I actually have the entire array of today's shooting regiment. I actually took my old, it's funny because last night I did a live stream and I was very intentional about not touching any pew-pews. And what YouTube did not realize when I moved the box to retrieve the chair is that I was lifting up a box with a old school pre-ban SP1 Sporter in it. So I technically did touch one, but I digress. I took that SP1 down to the range today and shot it for the first time. And it was pretty cool. I took some video footage of it. Annoying rooster. But with the recent activity of like a high-powered rifle, I felt it pertinent to check the zero on my 308, which is also sitting right there. But that's all we'll talk about that. But pretty disturbing. I had the receipt, so I'm hesitant to do anything in long form or even short form on politics right now, because I'm just not really into the politics. But it was just really a traumatizing thing to observe yesterday, and a breakdown in what was formerly a more civilized culture. But par for the course. Anyway, let's see. Omega. It's sad people call him shit, but they are actively supporting his death. So hypocritical. Yeah, I lament the loss of life in general, but this was particularly heinous. Sir, please help. What is the problem, Flux Frog? Boy, did they start getting jiggy with it. Take me home to America, please. Oh, well, I don't have access to international flight there, Flux Frog. Red Rocks 1978. Looks like we broke down here eventually. No, I can't shave my beard. Sorry if my language is bad, says Omega. Sorry, I broke up my story into many posts. It is censoring stuff. I had to. Mystical Stab Artist. What is the story behind your name, Mystical Stab Artist? Anyway, I had to figure out what was. This is so ridiculous. Boy, this probably weighs 3 pounds, but $33 for a box of 50 Full Metal Jacket 10 millimeter. I gotta figure out a better bulk ammo of that, and then $21 for 380. So over $54 today in ammo to only have 100 rounds, which is pretty pathetic. But I resolved to start carrying my 10 millimeter, being that I just feel a little bit of a necessity to increase the firepower, if that makes sense. Looking at your content, nice SNW 640, good taste. I had a rare one with a 3-inch barrel once. Yeah, I like that gun, but I wish it didn't have a Hillary hole. That's annoying. But it's a sweet little shooter, though. A little spicy. And 357. But, and the nice thing about it is that there's no option for going single versus double action, so it's the same trigger pull every time. Mystical Stab Artist, it doesn't mean anything in particular. I'm just curious because on the dichotomy between slashing and stabbing, you know, as a martial artist, I find the angles in particular interesting, considering, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 12 of the main moves in Filipino martial arts are stabbing motions, while the remaining 7 are slashing. So, Levi Maroff with a big pink hand. What is your 10 millimeter? It's a Glock 20. What's up, Red Pill Phil? Red Pill Phil's on my other platform. I'm having a pretty good day. I caught something again, and I had a nasal problem earlier today where my nose was kind of running and I was sneezing, which is really annoying, but I got bit by 10 yellow jackets on Sunday while mowing the property, while mowing over a nest apparently, so I think I've been a little immunocompromised. As a matter of fact, the one on my thigh turned into a giant green bruise, which is really annoying. But other than that, the day's doing pretty good. I mean, I woke up and I went to the gym and did a little bit of a chest workout, and then I went to work and, you know, made money going to work, and then I went to I went home and ate lunch, then I went back to work, and then I went to the range and shot 1, 2, 3. It was only 3 guns today. 308, a classic SP1, and a shotgun, which I'm having some problems with this bullshit. I have a bunch of footage of this too, but this, I bought like a case of 1,000 of these too. This high velocity, high pressure, Noble Sport buckshot. And this stuff is just off the chain as far as probably, I've shot a lot of big rounds, high powered rifles and shotguns, but this stuff kicks me back more than probably anything. And I'm not a weak man, so, and it's so powerful, it's doing something to the mechanics of my retrograde shotgun where it's inhibiting its ability to extract, which is really annoying considering how much I bought of that. And, you know, buying a case of 1,000 buckshot is not cheap in the 2025 landscape. So, evening, Dangerous Freedoms. Did you change your name? Nobel Sport and Monarch are the worst. They kick like a mofo. Apparently. Good Lord, that You know, I wouldn't mind the kick so much if it didn't cause mechanical issues. So, hair's getting in my mouth. It's surprisingly quiet with the chickens tonight, since we, cut down, as in gave away, and a lot of the roosters. It's gotten a lot quieter around here. Well, yeah, I can understand that, Dangerous Freedoms. But I have to say, Becoming Dangerous is probably my all-time favorite YouTube name, and I was kind of annoyed I didn't think of it first, because I spent the last 3 years of my life to that philosophy in every way. Speaking of which, I accumulated. I was thinking about all my options for palm sticks earlier today, because they were trying to sell me a Kubotan at the dojo, and I don't want to buy one because I have this little array. And by the way, I've trained a lot on just, here's the one, on how to use, oh cool, I have two of them. Here's the one that I found, or I bought like 2 years ago and lost, and then the one I bought to replace it about a month ago. But these look like Sharpies, right? But they're actually this composite material that is not metallic, which is very edgy. And as far as the use, you can imagine as far as the overall use, but these things are at least a discrete form. The Amend 2 Sharpie wannabes. And then I found this thing. Somebody gave me this as a holiday gift a couple of years ago, and she failed to mention that you couldn't get these batteries anywhere around town. They're this weird, like, strange Chinesium, but other than that, it's pretty cool, being that it's got this impact edge on it down here, and then the what do they call that, the frenulated light face. And then there's this thing. This is the Chisel of Leonidas, which is a pretty cool thing that actually Jade sent me. And I modified it by installing a little lanyard and rounded out the thing. Speaking of unconventional weapons, or conventional depending on how you train. Yeah, Kubotan training assault for close quarters. Yeah, I try to do it every Tuesday and Saturday. Sharpies. Oh, ninja stuff. Not quite. Probably the closest I have to that. Good Lord. This is my original cold steel machete that I've been carrying for about 4 years. So, but recently, as of late, I reckon I've been carrying my more near and dear to my heart blades, like my Ginuntings. Dangerous Freedom says I carry a metal pen and flashlights that slightly protrudes from my palm in case I need a makeshift impact weapon. Yeah, that's the way to go. It's funny because I was just in somebody's stream. Oh, I think it was Twin Arrows Survival. Actually, I was supposed to be in a work meeting, but they all got canceled, so I just had that on in the background, and I was listening to one of his live streams, and they got on the subject of a stick as a weapon, and I didn't know pine, because I just was just kind of casually listening, but being the last 3 years, I've dedicated my life to the art of fighting with a stick. And it's funny because I was just reading a story about a famous samurai who made most of his kills with a wooden sword. These two have been to stick us to life, as they say. Let's see. Jade says I used mine as a pry bar a little bit. I could see that, especially in, you know, I'd hate to break it though, you know, because this thing is definitely, when it comes to human flesh, I could just see that this thing, you know, it's going to hit some sweet spots. Mama Bear Homesteading. Hey, y'all. Hello, Mama Bear's Homesteading. Mystical stab artist. My absolute fave melee weapon is Shambok, but it's hard to carry when concealed. All of my favorite weapons are hard to carry concealed, including my big sticks. But, you know, even just living on a homestead, you know, when I have my daughter around and she's got to go up back, and, you know, one of those roosters is almost as big as my daughter, and I give her a stick. Like I just got bit with something. I give her a stick just as I'm like, hey, number 7, number 8, and she knows what those are. Let's see. Twin is here. Someone say Twin Arrows. Hey, Twin Arrow Survival. Good to see you, brother. Oh, she was badass. This is kind of hard to keep up. What, the stick mystical stab artist? Oh goodness, I'm getting work texts. Sorry guys, I'm getting text from my Jewish scientist who is in Las Vegas right now, eating at the steak restaurant, probably eating a $150 steak like we did last December. Sorry, I just got a reminder that I'm gonna have to go do that again here in a couple months. But give me a second on the subject of the stick. So I want to say probably earlier this year, I got heavily into the research of combat canes. And I didn't want to spend a couple of $100s to buy one that was actually meant for self-defense. So what I did was I bought one that was, in my opinion, high quality, that possessed the same features as a cane intended for self-defense. And you can see the kind of spiral cut nature of this, and the fact that it does have this little rubber nub at the end. But most self-defense canes, they come with basically kind of like gripped type nature. For not only just grip, but also there's just some aerodynamic nature to it swinging, but they also usually come with kind of a hook, like a diagonal cut here. So my intention is to actually cut that in the way that would be used for self-defense. But this is kind of a hardwood, which mostly in stick fighting you would really want more of a softwood. That's why in Filipino martial arts they use rattan, because hardwoods can splinter and cause shards to go in people's eyes. But this is something I bought for a non-permissive trip that I had to take somewhere where I could carry absolutely nothing regarding self-defense, including a pocket knife, which, you know, even if I go to California, I can carry a pocket knife. But anyway, hello. Twin Arrow Survival says, I love all my weapons. Yeah, I myself consider, you know, an equal opportunity user of weapons. I mean, that's the whole thing in Filipino martial arts. I mean, here's a real Sharpie, and we do use these to train some nights. But we even joke that we can use a stapler. Hey, girl. Sorry, I got a hen moving through. I like a roofing hammer. Yeah, me too. This was my grandpa's. Woo! See that? I have done nothing to restore this, to include sharpening it. But I found this in Grandpa's garage after he passed away. See. What's up, Guns Coast to Coast? A good old Irish shillelagh. Yeah, you know what? I don't have one of those, but I could make one. That would be a good one to have. Let's see. The blade on a roofing hammer is thin like most belt axes that were designed as weapons back in the day. Yeah, I could see that. Although I do like my trench hawk. I think that's in my box over there. And we train with the trench hawk sometimes in FMA. Most tomahawks are way too thick to be utilized as a weapon. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I guess in the, in the need of the moment, you do what you got to do with anything. I think the first one I bought, it's right over here. It's like I literally have a basket of blades here. Got my Silky Big Boy in there, some Moras, Ron DeSantis koozies. This thing is gnarly. See that? It's from Cold Steel. That's the, I can't remember the name of that particular, it's the composite, what they call it, FTX. They got a whole series of these composite type blades, and funnily enough, this is a sheath. Green Beret taught me how to make sheaths like that. Let's see. What is this? Look, my cans bowl. I was wondering where that was. Wow, this is that Magpul RLS sling. I hate this RLS sling. I will send this to somebody free if somebody wants that. Mora neck knife. Oh, I told you it was a basket of blades. There's my Glock knife. I was wondering where this was. This still got a bunch of filth in it. Last time I used it. There it is. So that's the one I was talking about. This is my first, like, oh, cool, 10-round magazine. Yeah, basket of blades was like a little time capsule, but this was the first one that I bought. This is a Schrade camp axe, and it's surprisingly balanced, and I've been able to throw this pretty effectively at trees and get it to stick. But the cool thing about this is it's small, and I use it as a hammer a lot. So this has been my favorite camping axe, but it's a good example of I think what Dangerous Freedoms was talking about not being good for fighting due to the balance. Let's see if I can put it back together right. Feels too quiet because I think I miss my puppy dog. Take it easy. Easy, buddy. There he is. I have to take my dog out here for a second, so we're gonna go for a little trip here. But gas is dying. Let's see. Wasp! That's what it is. Let's see. Hold on here. Let me back up a little bit. I don't want to miss. I have made a tomahawk out of roofing hatchet with a broken axe handle. It's in my Minuteman gear. Nice. Dangerous man can make a weapon out of anything. Indeed. Interesting. Okay. Check y'all later. Later, Mama Bear. Antique tomahawk. Twin Arrow Survival says, found an old tobacco barn with an 1800 pistol and some old Confederate money. All I heard was gold. Yeah, totally. It's a wasp. That's what it was. I want to get the actual wasp blade. Well, never mind. I should filter that. Anyway, the wasp is kind of an interesting blade that, is difficult to get shipped everywhere. I'll just leave it there. Twin Arrow Survival says, I have a composite push dagger I made out of carbon fiber. It's nasty. Ooh, yeah. Push daggers are pretty nasty in general. Finding random magazines and ammo. Yeah, me too. Bro, our collections are on the same level. Nice to have another blade guy on the team. Oh, yeah, I'm a total blade guy. I know, I'll be honest, it's not really in vogue, as they say, to be a blade guy these days. I watch, the Minuteman stuff and some of the cool guys stuff, and people minimize the blade in current zeitgeist, but I think they're off on that. The blade stands the test of time. It's interesting that, I hear stories. You'll go places and you'll have, let's just say places that are anti-gun, right? And you'll see examples of like parents that, want to let their kids, I know a lot of examples of this, my Jewish scientist at work is a great example. He told me about this. His parents wouldn't even let him have a super soaker, like a water gun. But, you'll still see them out and about, like camping and whatnot, and they'll let their kids have sword fights, right? Not understanding the blade, this devastating nature of the blade is timeless. And, modern guns and gear, I mean, that's kind of the thing we talk about. Don't get me wrong, it's devastating, but a bullet has a trajectory. The blade cuts every which way. It was, after all, the creator of the universe that stood up a cherubim at the gates of Garden of Eden once he abandoned man, abolished them from the garden, and stood up the messengers that had a blade that turned every which way. Flaming blade. The lightsaber. It's literally in Genesis, but I digress. I know a lot of people don't like to hear about that, but I do. Nehai, come! Sorry, I had to call my dog. Anyway, what are we saying in the chat here? U.S. Naval Academy on lockdown, shots fired. Ah, good Lord, what's happening now? It's my puppy. Yes, he's a good dog. mystical, really. SMH. Hey! Sorry, my dog just almost knocked my phone out of my hand. Yeah, blades are mystical. It's interesting, the lore. I have a Chris sword up there, and though, that's some, island black magic lore there. It's interesting, the mysticism that goes into so many cultures of the blade. What are you doing over there, puppy? It's really quiet tonight, even for my little country house. The birds seem eerily quiet. Yeah, that's what Fox News just said on TV. Boy, it sure is a lot of doings a transpiring, it seems. And all on the 24th anniversary. Hey, what do you got on your nose, dude? What do you got on you? Come here. Come here. What is that? Yeah. Chill out, dude. It's September 11th. I was just telling the story in Twin Arrow Survival stream, not 8 hours ago, about, being under a Oshkosh R-11 aircraft refueling truck on Herbert Field, and remembering when everything got quiet. And I was like, what the hell are y'all doing? Because the dudes that drove my trucks that I fixed were usually out there annoying me. I went in, they were all in their little, day room where they would chew tobacco and drink coffee, watching the aftermath of the first plane. Operational security cover-up. And then we all watched live as the second plane hit, but let's see, make sure I'm far enough over here. There we go. Anyway, well, and there was a school shooting today too. Just to, put some icing on that cake. Yeah, come. Down. Down. Sit. Good sit. Good sit. Okay. You can't replace a knife when you need it. No, it's kind of hard to carve them out of, rocks. I understand that's what they used to do, but the blade is an effective weapon. Absolutely. And that's, case in point, I was just telling you the thing about how, anti-gun people are cool with kids playing swords, right? And this right here, can you stop licking my bee stings, dude? That's kind of weird. This is a Ginanting manufactured at Prado Blades. So an actual Philippine Recon Marine. And the Philippine Recon Marines train in the ancient, semi-ancient art of swordplay. And, the reason why we had the World War II and all those combat bolos was based on American service members' experiences going into the Philippine Islands. They were just, they'd go in there with their rifles and their revolvers, and then the Filipinos would come out of the shadows and they would be headless suddenly. So they learned a lot about those short swords, and that's why I train in that particular combat art, because it's based on survival. And even the number 5 goes back to those islands being invaded by the Spaniards, because the number 5, the thrust up stab, as discussed earlier in the stream, is meant to go under Spanish armor. Nehai! He's out there eating chicken poop, I guarantee it. I don't know why dogs eat poop. I'm a biologist, I should know, but it grosses me out. And it's a farm, so there's poop everywhere. Anyway. Make a stiletto from a shortened SKS spike. Yep. I had a stiletto style blade around here somewhere. Very effective. Levi, Maroff, waves again. Hey, what's up, Levi? I'd love to hear about the Bible. Please feel free to tell us as much about it as you want. I study my Bible every night. Awesome, Twin Arrow Survival. Yeah, I love to hear it. Levi, what's up, brother? Great to see you. You hear puppy, here's the dog barking. Oh yeah, my Velcro dog. Yeah, I would be a liar to say I spent dwell time in Scripture every day, but I am a liar and a sinner and a failed being human, as it states. So I'm okay with that, but I do spend a lot of time in Scripture every week, particularly on Saturday, where there's significant dwell time. I actually have committed myself to writing out the Bible, and it's taken me a year and a half just to getting into the, I think I'm in the 5th book of Exodus. I've literally written out the entire book of Genesis, and a very, very smart man taught me once that to truly know something, you have to visualize it, and then you have to hear it audibly, and then you have to write it out, and then you have to recite it, and then you know it. And, and it says back in the day that the kings of Israel were required to write out the scrolls, the first 5 books of Moses, known as the Torah. So that's my goal. It might take 5 to 6 years, but most of my life is arguably monastic in nature, being that I spend most of my time working out, reading, going to martial arts training, and reading and writing the scriptures. So it becomes very routine through time, which means that, things that like major events that happen. Nihai! Un momento, por favor. There he is. Gotta call him back. Anyway, I get knocked off kilter when, disturbances in the force happen, like the thing that happened yesterday. And so, sadly, I've been on the musical kick the last couple of weeks and have been writing songs and playing guitar, but it just kind of knocked all that out of me and just made me want to go zero on my rifles. It's just leaves, Nihai. It's just leaves. Got spooked out by the rustling of the leaves by the wind. Anyway, Mystical Stab Artist says, I was on the Truman on 9/11. Oh, yeah? Calm down, puppy. What are you hearing? It is kind of quiet out there, isn't it? I might need to go out there and check and make sure there wasn't like a turkey vulture or a hawk attack. Anyway, what time is it? Yeah, we better go do that here in a minute. So my dogs are looking at me like, who is that dog barking? Last deployment was on the 75. Jade was 4, but saw it on TV. Yeah, I wonder what that's like. That's like me watching the breakup of that space shuttle. Knee high. Can you just stay, puppy? Yeah, he's such an adventurer. He takes after like his poppy. They sent everyone except duty section home, and it was like that all week. I got a week paid vacation, basically. Oh. Let's see. Andrew McConnell said, hello, my friend, nice. Nehai! Nehai! Come! Get your butt over here. What are you eating? What are you licking your chomp? You've been eating poop, haven't you? Get in there. Come on. Go in there and drink some water. Brush your breath. Come on. Go. Damn dog. Real dogs. They have their appetites. I don't know what it is. Let's see. I'm glad people are connecting in the comment section. Is that a motorbike behind you? No, that's my fat tire bike. It's a mongoose, which is kind of a pain to ride. But it builds up the glutes, I can tell you that much. Let's see, also explains lots of the anti-Darwin behavior. I don't think I'm tracking this conversation at this point, guys. I do have a dirt bike out there, though. See, I have the scriptures and the New King James Version and one I found in a shed. It was the only thing not destroyed. Nice. I don't really proselytize about my view on my faith. But I can say that King James seems to at least preserve the intended message of the available books. But my views on the whole thing are pretty unorthodox, being that I didn't grow up in the church, and I was atheist most of my life. So, you know, I told my parents Santa Claus didn't exist when I was like 4, and God didn't exist when I was like 5. So I was kind of a weird child and didn't really find my path with my creator till I was in my 30s. So I have a little bit different perspective than most people. So, but the scriptures, I find it rather instructive to try to understand the Hebrew as much as possible. I hear something I have to go deal with, but I will be back later, y'all. Maybe tomorrow.